Hi, everybody. Hello. Sorry, I am a few minutes late. As you can see, it's just me today, so I hope some of you are joining us. I love interaction. The more interaction, the better. So please write to me, introduce yourself, tell me things. I can see in the comments, and I hope you guys are still here. So Antonio has written, I am Tony from Rome. It's my birthday today. I am 36 now. Happy birthday, Antonio. I am so sorry that you are having a, a quarantine birthday. It's a very sad time, but it's okay. And I
And
have a
Jadene
friend.
thought she was by herself, but instead we're both here. And happy birthday, Antonio.
Exactly. We also have Alex from Modena. I think we've met before, so it's nice to see you again. And Diana from Turin. Lovely. See, Antonio, if I knew it was your birthday, maybe I would have chosen a different theme instead of at the airport. But what can we do?
How are you, Jadene?
Yeah, I'm. Sorry. So Alex has asked me, where is my dark room? The room that everyone says is red. I've decided today to be a little bit more summery, and I have moved. I have moved rooms. Somewhere with a bit more light. So, um, to answer Geordie's question, I'm fine. I am good. I'm strangely excited for this 3-day weekend, even though I have not many plans. So maybe during the weekend I will feel less excited. But at the moment, it's good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I've got to do my shopping as well to prepare for this long weekend. Otherwise, with nothing in the house, it's going to be a very long weekend.
It's true. Okay. So as usual, for those of you joining us, and hi Flavia, hi Martina. I know you are all already introducing yourselves. But just a reminder, please let us know in the comments your names, where you are, and if you have any questions throughout the webinars, please ask us because we are here for you. And also, if you want to answer any questions we have throughout the webinar, you are welcome to do so in the comments. Hi, Katerina. So we'll start by introducing ourselves. Geordie, if you want to go first.
Hi, I'm Gualdi. I work in Milano Meravigli with Jadene. I'm from London and I've been in Milan now since 2015. At home, I'm keeping myself busy by cooking and looking after my animals. How about you, Jadene?
Okay, yes. So hi, Raffaele as well from Rome. So Geordie lied. He does not work with me. He's actually my boss. So if you all want to write in the comments nice things about me, I will accept it. And hi, Ricardo as well. So many people. I like all spread out in Italy. Many from Rome, actually. Um, so yes, for anyone who hasn't met me, my name is Jadene. I'm 25. I am also originally from London, but I moved to Italy in October last year. And my favorite color is blue, and I prefer tea to coffee, of course, because I am English. So
See, I
that's
don't know.
about.
I have in the morning, I have my cup of tea and my coffee just to sort of get me
Oh
charged for the
no,
day.
no, that's ridiculous. That makes me upset. You can like both, of course, but you can't have both together.
No, not in the
It's
same
very
cup.
different
I mean,
feelings. Maybe have a special double cup. I don't know.
Yeah, you know,
2
just
cups
tip
and
from
chip
one
rolls.
and then.
Horrible, horrible conversation. Okay, so Geordie, why don't you tell us all what we are doing today?
So today, guys, we're doing a focus activity at the airport. So we're going to get ourselves ready for as soon as we can finally leave the house again. I'm assuming that everybody is going to go wherever they can, most likely very far away. So we're going to prepare you for the correct language and maybe some problems as well.
Okay, fantastic. So, just for anyone reading the screen and curious about pronunciation, in this focus activity, we will be looking at some different situations, including checking in when you are at security and dealing with problems. Um, so, to begin, we have check-in and some questions which I will read out, and I would like everyone in the comments to answer. When you answer, please put the number as well of the question you would like to answer so we know. But also Geordie will be my model student and will also answer. So firstly, Geordie,
Yeah.
what is the check-in, or what does it mean, checking in? What type of word is this?
See, to check in, now that's a double word, isn't it? What is that, Jadene? That's got a special name for it. Um,
Is it?
any ideas, guys? Do you know what would we call check in? So when it's a double barrel, is there a certain way? Because obviously to check and in are two different words, but when you put them together, they make a different word. Okay. In the meantime, I'll say a check-in is the first thing that you reach in the airport. Normally, where you give your luggage, your suitcase, and your tickets. Okay. To check in noun, to check in verb. Okay. Yep. So a phrasal verb as well. Okay.
Okay. I just sent
So.
you a message. I didn't know. Okay, so question one, and great because I can see some of you already answering. So, which documents do you need to check in for a flight? And as Geordie mentioned, check in is a phrasal verb. So for anyone who cannot remember, a phrasal verb is when we have a verb and a preposition, but when they are together, they have a slightly different or sometimes a very different meaning to the original verb. So which documents do you need to check in for a flight? Flavia says passport or ID card. Exactly, passport. You've also said passport. Alex also says boarding card.
Okay, there is actually quite a little difference. So in Italy, you can actually fly with your ID card inside Europe. Us from Britain, we need our passport. We cannot fly with our ID card.
We don't have ID cards.
I've always actually found that strange that when you see Italians in London and they just have an ID card, and sometimes it's not even sealed, it's not closed, it's just a piece of paper in a wallet. We always need our passport to fly. Now, a boarding card, Jadene, do you get it at the check-in or do you get it before?
Well, traditionally, so before technology, we would be given our boarding card or our boarding pass at the check-in, but now most people check in online, I think.
Yeah. So
And
it's
then you are presented it at the same time.
yeah, it's a ticket you actually get at the check-in. So when you give your suitcase and show your passport, they give you the boarding card. Otherwise, now with check-ins online, obviously you can print it from home. You get it in an email and you can bring it on because you have already checked in.
Mm. And now there's even e-check-in, which is, as Jody mentioned, or electronic check-in when you do it all online. So
it saves a lot of time.
And paper. So question 2, which is about this. Do you prefer to use an online check-in or an e-check-in? Or do you prefer to check in at the desk with a person?
Okay, Filippo here. So it depends on amount or type of suitcase you have.
So I think this is answering question 3.
Okay. Yep. Sorry. Jumping ahead.
Okay. That's fine. Which is, do you usually check in baggage? It's true. If you have a lot of bags, then probably you have to check them in. Or if your bags are heavy, then you have to check them in. But if you have a small or a lightweight bag, you can take it with you. We call this hand luggage. But do you usually check in your baggage, or do you carry it on?
I generally, so it depends. If I'm traveling far away or for a long time that I have a suitcase, I will check it in. Otherwise, if I travel with a small bag, I try to do whatever I can to keep it with me. Sometimes now, especially, they take your hand luggage away from you to put it with the suitcases, which I don't like. And you?
No. I also prefer hand luggage because it's faster. Also, it's cheaper. Usually you have to pay to store baggage in the flight, and that could often cost almost as much as the flight itself.
Yeah.
Which is shocking. So, in answer to question 2, Diana says, I prefer to do it online. I am. Remember, we use the verb to be when we then have a description, like anxious. So I am anxious, or I'm always anxious about missing the plane. The waiting would freak me out. And that is a great phrase. So to freak out, or if something freaks you out, it's just to make you panic and go a bit crazy. Lovely.
Then we have Ricardo here. So now check-in online is easy, but if you need to embark luggage, you have to go to the desk. Yes, luckily you can still do the online check-in and leave the luggage. They just need to check the weight. But it does make life a lot easier.
Exactly.
As
And
Martina says.
Yep. She agrees. Online is faster and easier. Sorry, my computer is having a bit of a freak out. I think it's not expecting to see so many people. And Flavia also for number 2. I prefer the online check-in to avoid queues. Okay. You can also use just the app without printing the boarding pass. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an iPhone as well, you can add it to the wallet. You have the ticket on the wallet and it saves even more time. It depends on the during of the journey.
Duration.
Now, perfect. You're one step ahead of me, Jadene. Okay, we got Katerina here. I prefer to use online check-in because I usually have the anxious about missing the plane, and I don't like queues too. So as we said before, I'm usually anxious. anxious. Okay. So I am usually anxious is the best way of saying that. Alex, it makes me crazy about the weight of the luggage because I don't want to pay more money for weight. Perfect. Jadene, you've probably done it as well. Have you ever been to the airport? Your luggage is 1 kilo over, and you've
No,
decided to take jackets and everything, and go
no,
through.
this doesn't happen to me. I am very organized. I dread this thought. I have fear. This thought, it fears me. It scares me. Can't speak. Really, really nice. Just one thing, Alex. It just what you've said is fine and clear. But maybe it would be more common to say the weight of the luggage makes me crazy. Remember, in English, we really like to stick to subject, verb, object. So the weight of the luggage is the subject, and then makes, and I am the object, me.
Yeah, then we got Raffaele. So I prefer the online check-in because it's quicker.
So Diana, I use. Remember, use is already a verb, so we don't need the verb to be. I use hand luggage. I have learned to bring a few things with me. Mixing the various clothes for the outfits. Nice. I see. So you can get 10 different outfits out of 5 different items. Perfect. Really good, guys. Okay. And just a few more. Oh god, I love it. So Ricardo, it depends if remember you are, so we use apostrophe RE. It depends if you're alone or with your wife. So this possessive your is fine. If you travel with your wife, you always need to check in luggage. And Filippo says, Ricardo, maybe you need a luggage to put your wife in. So be careful, Filippo. If you put your wife in something, it's very different to putting something inside your wife. bear this in mind.
And also, guys, so just remember as well, so luggage and baggage. Luggage is British and baggage is American. They mean exactly the same thing. So it can be, do you usually check in your baggage or do you usually check in your luggage? Okay. I think, is there another word for hand luggage in American? I believe there is. I can't remember. As a lot of you probably know, between American and British, there are a few variations, like suitcase and baggage.
Mhm.
If you think as well, rucksack and carry-on luggage. There we go. Thanks, Joanna. Good to know I'm being watched also. Thanks. There are quite a few variations, but they're all fine. Great
Yes,
one,
and,
Flavia. Yep, so I prefer to travel light. So when we say I prefer to travel light, it's generally just with hand luggage.
Exactly. And just for pronunciation, everyone, because I know that Gualdi has said the word suitcase a lot. So this is often something people I hear make a mistake with when they are speaking. Remember, we don't separate the sounds for the U and the I. We use them as one U sound. So a suitcase, and you can all practice that at home if you like.
Suitcase.
Lovely. So we also have question 4, which no one has answered. But you are welcome to in the comments, and Gualdi and I will just quickly discuss this before we move on. So question 4: what are some what are some questions the check-in agent asks?
See,
So
I
who
think
is the check-in agent?
the check-in agent, is that the person behind the desk? Yeah. So it's basically as soon as you go up to the check-in, the person who serves you. Normally they work for the same airline, and they will take your bag, check your passport and everything to make sure everything's okay. The questions, if you think recently, so say in the last 10 years, they've changed quite a lot. Before it was just basically passport and bag. Now there are a lot more security questions. So anyone will give you another couple of minutes if you've got any of the questions. But I think they want to make sure that everything is fine with you and with the suitcase. Yeah. Jadene, what was probably the most awkward question you've been asked at an airport?
I don't know if I've been asked any awkward questions. Maybe if I'm pregnant. I'm very small, so I don't look pregnant. I also look about 12 years old, so not sure where that came from. But have you had any awkward questions asked to you,
I
Gualdi?
So yes, when I lived in London,
Story
obviously
time!
coming over to Italy for summer holidays and things, I used to always bring back, um, Italian delicacies in my suitcase, yeah, to bring back to London. And one time I got extremely nervous because there was a dog next to me thinking that it was a drugs dog, the ones that they set to check that you haven't got anything wrong. It wasn't. There was another dog, and the check-in desk agent asked me, "Do you have any meat in your suitcase by any chance?" I didn't hear the suitcase part. That's a separate English joke. But I had to open my suitcase and take out about 3 salamis and a Parma ham, which was a little bit awkward, I have to say.
You couldn't keep them? Could you keep them?
No, I could. I just had to. They had to be wrapped properly, which they weren't. They
Okay.
were just in a plastic bag.
See, okay. So Alex has a suggestion for question 4. He says, "Do you have something?" So not some. Some we need an object afterwards. So something to declare, and usually we don't get asked this, or I've never been asked this at the check-in. Is usually something you are asked when you arrive in a new country, I think.
Yeah. Or when you come from another country. If you have luggage to send. Now, when you say to send, what do you mean? Because if you send something, it means that you are not with it. Okay, so it will be separate for you, from you. Like you send a letter in the post, or you send a birthday present, maybe to Antonio, whose birthday it was today. Okay, so Martina, have another look and let us know what you would like to say. There's Katerina. I always fear that my suitcase weight. So suitcase weight, we're missing a verb here. So we're missing is or will be more than the maximum because I don't want to pay more. Very good. Fortunately, I've never run into this situation. Maybe. If you go for the low fare airlines, they're normally very strict, especially if you go slightly over, and it costs a lot if you do.
Yeah. And Alex, yes, I have the wife inside my suitcase. Good to know. So Ricardo says, I like this. This is a question that you ask at check-in. So I always ask for. a seat on the aisle, or we can just call this an aisle seat. And again, everyone listen to the pronunciation because this word everybody struggles with. So the S is completely silent. We just say aisle. Very similar to when you contract I will, aisle. And this is away from the window. Okay, lovely. And Diana, they ask you what is the reason for your trip, how long you are going to stay in the country, if you have money, true. And they ask you where you will stay overnight or where you will sleep. And then she says, man, I confuse customs with check-in, but actually, when I have been on long-haul flights, so for a long
you're
distance.
Gonna have to explain what's a long haul flight, Jadene.
Yes. So not, for example, traveling in Europe, but traveling many hours, for example, from the UK to Asia, or yeah, to a different continent. Usually, I've been asked more questions like this, Diana. So I think that that's what you've said is fine.
Okay, Martina, I don't know how to say when you don't bring your baggage with you on the airplane because it's too heavy or too big. Yep, so as we were saying before, when it goes with the suitcase, what was your original comment? If you have luggage to send, okay, if you have luggage to put away, okay, or to check in.
Exactly. And finally, just before we move on, Raffaele says, I always sit near the window. Remember, they sound very similar, but to sit is the verb and a seat is the place we sit.
See, I always prefer the aisle. I don't know why. Even
too.
if I do, so last Christmas I went to Palermo with a layover. We'll go back to that afterwards in Rome. So we stopped in Rome. The flight was an hour, I think, not even. 100% guaranteed. As soon as I've been on a plane for half an hour, I need to go to the toilet. So it's guaranteed. So I always make sure that I'm on an aisle seat.
Okay. And so a layover or a stopover, what is this?
So if you're going, especially on a long haul flight, as we said before, so if you go maybe to China, to Australia, you may stop in another country halfway or near enough. It's normally if you have to change flights, if you're going on a different plane, or years ago at least, when a plane had to refuel. Okay, you stop in another airport. It could be for 1 hour. It could be for a day. Yeah, great. So when you land in a country, temporarily to change flights. Perfect, Jadene.
Okay, great, guys. So now we have a task looking at some airport vocabulary. Some of this you have already mentioned in the comments, but others might be new. So if you want to answer, write the letter of the picture and also then the word you think it is. And Geordie will read them out for pronunciation so you can all hear them.
Thanks for that. So we have a boarding pass, baggage claim, trolley, security, luggage, and gate.
And I'm just going to make us a little bit smaller so that, well, I'm going to take us away so that you can see the pictures properly.
See, photo A, Jadene, as a child.
Yes, as a child.
Oh, sorry, not A. Sorry, C.
Photo C. Yep. No, I know it. Photo C.
What did you always have dreams to do?
I think everybody wants to get on one of these things. Also, Diana says, I have to go. But no worries. Thank you, Diana, for coming and taking part. It was lovely to have you.
Have a great day.
Right. But yes, I think every child, even now as an adult, I want to get on one of these and walk around them, even though they are very similar to the running machine at the gym or the also called the treadmill, which I hate. So when I have the option, I don't like it.
Irony! Guys, that's
Um,
called a conveyor belt as well. And it's the same, you see it quite a lot, maybe even in sushi restaurants, where the food is brought all around the restaurant. There was a great one in London called Yo Sushi. I don't know if you can you remember that, JD?
I love yo sushi.
It just
So expensive. Coming
like
to Italy
ridiculous.
has blown my mind, which means has
Yeah.
just amazed me.
Coming here and say, was it 20 euros or 25 euros, all you can eat, which I am really missing at this moment, I have to say.
Me too. Really, me too.
Bad times.
Okay. So we have lots of comments. Amazing. Jordi, do you know if the number goes next to the picture or if no, you know what I mean?
I think it just starts and maybe boarding pass. So we're either going to get boarding pass and the letter, or we're going to get letter A and the answer. So let's try and elicit both of them.
Okay.
F, we've got boarding pass, and A, has anybody responded to A yet? Security. So, drum roll. Is JD, I think JD made us having,
So
are
Alex,
you
what's
back?
another word for safety?
Bye, Ricardo. Have a good lunch.
Hello.
Jadene.
Hello.
There we
Am I
go.
here?
We're
Okay.
back. We're back. So we
Okay,
went
sorry.
first on the picture.
Yes, I was talking and then I just heard, oh, is she gone? No. Okay, yes. So this section is called security. Lovely. And then, well done, Flavia, Alex, Raffaele, as well as some others. For picture B, we have luggage, or again, as we mentioned before, baggage, or suitcases if you want to use the plural of these things. Perfect. And then picture C, we have wonderful by Alex, and I'm not sure if anyone else has put this. Apologies if you have. We have the baggage claim. So what does it mean, Jordi, if you claim something?
So to claim is to make something, to state that something is yours. Yeah. Or to get something. So in this case, if you have all of the suitcases coming around the conveyor belt, yeah, you see your one, you go to get it, you are claiming that bag as yours. Okay. But I can also claim other things in English. I can claim maybe if I see a bottle of water and somebody says, whose bottle is this? I can go and get it, and I'm claiming that as mine. I'm declaring that object is mine.
Okay, lovely. So next we have, well done, Ricardo, Alex. For D, we have a trolley. So also, if you go to a supermarket and you do not have a basket, which is the small version, but you have a bigger basket on wheels, this is also called a trolley.
Yeah, this is actually a false friend with Italians because Italians can sometimes call the suitcases. Why are you laughing?
I feel like now I am very close to Ricardo's relationship. I love him and his wife. Sorry, guys, I have my wife that is screaming that lunch is ready. Bye. Thank you, Ricardo, for having been here. It was great.
Yeah, as I was saying, so the rolling bags are suitcases or hand luggage on wheels. Yeah, don't get them confused with trolley because some people in Italian use that. Okay, it's not always the case. Yeah, a trolley is either in at the airport, so the one we see in the photo, or at the supermarket, where I'm sure Jadene has sat inside once in her life, screaming and taking things from the shelf.
Yes, I did that just last month before the quarantine, 2 months ago. So picture E, we have, I think people got it, so I'm just going to show. We have the gate. I think self-explanatory. Usually a gate is maybe something you have around your house or garden in order to move between private outside spaces or to get into a park. But in an airport, we call the door to go to the plane the gate, and the area that you wait in.
I suppose if you think about it, it's fairly similar. You know, you may have a big house. The gate is the one that opens. Yeah. Or as it goes around. So you can have a metal gate which will go around a property. There's the wooden ones that might be a bit lower. Okay, especially in England, in for houses we have them. Jadine, what's that called?
A fence?
That's a fence, yes. Sorry to put you on the spot there. So we have a gate, which is normally very large and it stops entrance. A fence can either be high, it can be slightly lower. Normally it's made of wood. Yeah. And then so a fence is the wooden rail that goes around a house. To fence, Jadine, what's that? So the verb, this is an example where the verb and the noun are completely different.
Yes. So to fence is a sport where people dress all in white and have very long swords or pointy things, and it's some kind of battle sport. I've never played this. So yes. Okay. So
Okay.
so finally, well done everyone. We have our boarding passes, which have our details as well as our flight details. And it's essentially the ticket to get onto the flight. So what are some other words for luggage? We have baggage, suitcases, and also you can have the general term, which is just bags.
Bags. Yeah. Remember, so in Italian, so bags, you might say like the borsa. For us, we can have the various different types of bags. Bags is general. Otherwise, you can have shopping bags. You can have handbags. You can have clutch bags. Help me out here, Jadine. I'm not a bag expert.
Tote bag.
Totes.
Tote bag.
They're all various
Many a
different
bag.
types. Many a bag.
Okay. So we're almost at the end of the webinar, actually. So yeah, so Filippo says a backpack, exactly, or a rucksack, as well, something you wear on your back. So just for the last 10 minutes of this webinar, I want Jordi and I to quickly go through some of these questions you might hear at check-in. If you want to answer any of them, you can. But we're just going to discuss the meaning and then we're going to move on to some problems quickly. So, Jordi, do you want to read maybe the first three?
Yeah. So, may I see your passport? Okay, it's the question you will always hear. May is the same as can or could. Yeah, it's a more polite or formal way of asking to see your passport. Obviously, if you need to fly somewhere, they will always need to check your passport. Okay. Two, have you checked in online? Okay, just remember the pronunciation here, checked instead of checked. So checked in online, which is obviously if you have to give your suitcase or something, they would definitely ask for it. And you would have got your ticket as well if you checked in online. Three, do you have a seat preference? Now, this is one, sometimes they will ask it, sometimes they won't, because now a lot of airlines are allocating seats beforehand. Okay, you can check when you check in online, you can pick your seat. Some cost more as well. Jadene, number 4.
Perfect. So thank you, Alex. Bye bye. So number 4, do you need to check in any bags? So if you have not selected that you would like to check in bags, at this point, you can change your mind. So you will then have to pay to check in the bag, but you're able to do so. Number 5 is again a security question they ask you early on. So they say, did you pack your bags yourself? This is because if there is anything bad or prohibited, which means not allowed inside your bags, and you say you have packed them, you are responsible for this thing if there is a problem. If you say, no, I haven't packed my bag myself, and you're an adult, you may also be in some trouble, so be careful. And again, like question 5, question 6, has anyone else had access to your bags? Just means, has anyone else touched your bag or added something to your bag? And again, they ask you this for a security reason, because if they find something naughty or illegal inside, you will be in trouble and you have to take
Salamis do
responsibility.
not count as naughty or illegal. Um,
Improperly packed salamis may be naughty.
there we go.
So if you guys are at check-in and maybe you're in between countries, no one is speaking Italian, but everyone is speaking English, I hope you are prepared to answer these questions. Okay. So finally, what I want us to do for the last few minutes is look at some problems we may have, and there is a very small task. So we have time. So these are some suggestions of problems we might have at check-in. So please, we're going to read through them. If you have any more, or if anything has happened to you, if any of these problems have happened to you, then tell us. Tell us what happened so we can know. And if not, Jordi and I are going to read them out, and the task at the bottom says, discuss what you would do in these situations. So you can start your sentence with I would, and then we use an infinitive verb. So how would you solve this problem? Please tell us in the comments. Jordi, would you like to start reading?
Yes, so your bag is overweight. Okay, as we were saying before, a lot of us get worried as well about the bag being overweight. Your flight is cancelled. Okay, I think that happened a lot about 2 months ago that people wanted to go away. The name on your ticket is wrong. Okay, which can sometimes happen if you buy, maybe your company buys you tickets or you insert the wrong name when you buy them. you feel sick, and you miss your flight and can't leave until tomorrow. Okay. Jadene, have you ever had a problem at check-in?
No.
Are you sure? Like,
No.
you've had so much luck at airports.
Yeah. I don't know. I've almost missed my flight before. But I've been very lucky. Um, if I missed my flight and I couldn't leave until tomorrow and it was for a holiday I really wanted to go on, or it was really far away or expensive, then I would stay at the airport and I would just see if there was another flight. Probably I would cry as well because I am quite emotional and I cry all the time. Yes. Um, have you ever had, well, I'm assuming you've had lots of these. Have you
Yeah.
ever felt too sick to go on a flight before?
Too sick? No. I have to say, and I shouldn't really be saying this, one time, fairly recently as well, I had a very early flight after a very late night after a party. Yeah. And I can honestly say, I think I was still a little bit drunk when going on the plane. Um, so yes, I wouldn't say sick, but not at my best, definitely.
Okay. So what did you do, or what would you do if this happened again in the future?
I would maybe try to drink a lot of water, eat something, maybe take an aspirin or something, depending on how I felt. I'm one, I don't like to waste time, and I definitely don't like to miss a flight. Now, have you ever had a cancelled flight, JD?
No, I've had delayed flights. So if something is delayed, it means the original time has been moved to a later time. But fortunately, it's never been delayed for more than 2 or 3 hours, which is okay. Not wonderful, but okay. Okay, Filippo. Okay, Philip, I'm not entirely sure what this should mean. Try again. I think it's a joke. So, Geordie, I think to your story, you
I
were
think
flying.
I think it was flying.
You were flying without the aeroplane after party.
Yeah,
Ah,
I was flying as in my own mind.
so remember, Filippo, the verb to be with you in the past is you were. So I was, you were.
And guys, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, actually.
Yes. But thank you,
Um,
everyone, for being so interactive. Just a really quick summary, because I like to do this. Um, so we had a very nice discussion about check-in. Remember, check-in is the place you go to before you are able to go to security and get on your flight. This is where you are given your boarding pass. We also have to check in the verb, which is to go to check in and do these things, or to hand in your bags. We then looked at some vocabulary. Remember, we have many words for bags, including baggage and luggage. We went through some common questions that we are asked at check-in. And finally, we've looked at some problems as well that you might come into. Is there anything else you want to say, Geordie?
no, just thank you very much, everybody, for being so interactive, and hope to see you soon.
Okay. Great. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.